And welcome again to Cottage Talk Full Time. I'm Russ Goldman. Joining me right now is Emilio Di Nello outside of Craven Cottage. This is our full-time initial reaction show of Fulham's 3-1 victory against Swansea City. Emilio was there. It looks like it's pretty dark where you are now. Hopefully it wasn't that dark watching the match. But Emilio, let's not waste any time. Give me your opening thoughts on what you watched at Craven Cottage today.
Well, firstly, it's the first evening game of the season, so it's good to see back in the cottage, with all the new stadium all fully lit up. So that was beautiful. A game of two halves. At the end of the day, I'm glad we actually dominated the first half, very convincing, very dominant, and should have been more than 3-1 up. But we took that at half time. But overall, it was just great to see Fulham responding back after sort of some poor performances of late. We've lost our momentum in the last few weeks. I think with 2 defeats, a draw, and a win, we need to get back on track. We needed to keep close to West Brom and Bournemouth, and we've done that tonight with a very dominant first half display. And what I was encouraged today is that you can't play 90 minutes well and expect to dominate games for the entire 90 minutes. And I thought second half we were poor, sloppy at times. We made a few substitutions. One was enforced with the Joe Bryan injury, but we didn't play well in that second half, and we drew 0-0. So that was encouraging. So basically, I'm a happy Emilio here.
You're happy, Emilio?
We got the victory we needed. We're back on track. And we're 2 points behind the leaders. But overall, great attack in first half, very exciting to watch, some great movement. But we lost our momentum in the second half with the injury and some of the tactical changes Marco Silva made. But overall, we didn't play well second half, and we didn't lose that half. And that's the encouraging bit. You can't play well for 90 minutes. And if we can play ugly and still come away with victories, or individual halves not playing well, I'll take that. So 3-1.
Okay.
Mitrovic hat-trick, could have been more, but second half was a bit sloppy at times.
Right. And we'll talk about this in just a second, because I want to ask you how much you thought the injury to Joe Bryan changed the second half. Again, they got it done, but shape-wise and attacking-wise, it completely changed, obviously, because you are bringing Alfie Mawson in, and it changes how you're going to play. But let's just not waste any time, my friend. Let's talk about the first goal from Alexander Mitrovic. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know if you've seen replays of this. He's offside. His heel's offside.
Okay.
So I'm just being honest here. If you've watched the stream of this, thankfully I got to watch the stream of this. And when you see the replay, his heel's offside. But you know what? I think this is a makeup call for me for what happened at Bristol City. And it all evens itself out. But the goal itself, Emilio, it was a very well-taken goal. So let's talk about the opener for Mitro.
Yeah, and from what I recall, obviously the other side of the pitch. So unfortunately, I saw the 3 goals at the wrong end of the pitch. But from what I could see, it was good build-up, good movement. Cabano had a very good game. To be honest, he was lively, exciting, had a lot of space, especially in that first half. And he was causing a lot of problems for the Swansea defence. And I thought from what I could see, Mitrovic was sharper in that penalty area, and he finished well. It was a nice polished finish, and any other striker might not have reacted, but Mitrovic looked hungry in that first half. He looked up, he looked determined, focused. And the fact that he was disappointed getting substituted tells a story, to be honest. So, but overall, I couldn't tell from where I sat whether he was offside or not, but clearly he was first to the ball and did what he needed to do and did what he does best.
Absolutely, Emilio. And we're seeing the Mitro that we saw 2 seasons ago, and that's very encouraging. But what's interesting about this, and again, before we talk about the second goal, I think Fulham are playing to Mitro's strengths. And I will give Steve Reynolds, our friend in Spain, a lot of credit, because he kept saying to me, you got to start Cabano. He made a huge difference here, Emilio, because I think he played along with the other players to Mitro's strengths.
Yes, he did. And he had so much space, Cabana. So beautiful one touch. His control was excellent. He was getting past the Swansea fullback, getting some good balls in the box and causing havoc for them, especially in that first half. And, Cabano isn't consistent enough for me. So hopefully he'll get a steady run in the team and can play consistently well game in, game out. But the problem with Neeskins, he'll have one good game and then he'll go quiet the next and he's back on the bench again. And then becomes sub. So he's got to, this is his opportunity, grab the opportunity, play continuously and regularly well, and he'll be a regular in the starting 11. But I don't see that consistently enough. It's for us to prove, he needs to prove us wrong. But overall, I thought he had an excellent game.
Okay. Here's a question. Maybe you know the answer to this, Emilio. Emilio Russ, who was the last Fulham player to score a first half hat trick?
Oh, that's a good question. Steve? Goodness. Oh, good question. I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I'm gonna think about that on my way home from the game. But
okay,
you've stumped me there, Steve.
Okay, excellent. And I want to share this from Christy. Clearly offside, but hey, who cares?
Who cares?
Chris,
Who cares?
I'm actually there with you because, like I said, the Bristol City match, it all evens itself out.
Exactly.
But Emilio, let's talk about the second goal. We were just talking about Cabano. So again, this is just not a fantastic strike by Mitro, but enough to get the goal, but set up beautifully by Neeskens Cabano.
Exactly. Same thing again with, Cabano with the lead up to the goal, if I remember right. It was good movement down on the left. Cabano's touch was, very sublime, and it was a great cross. And from what I could see, it wasn't, again, I was slightly obstructed because a lot of people stood up from where I sat. It wasn't clear to me whether it was a polished finish or whether did the keeper fluff it? Did Mitrovic just put enough power? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the replay, but
I think he did just enough to get it by the keeper.
All I could hear the crowd going, "Ooh, oh yeah!" There's a delayed reaction to the goal. That's all I can remember from a distance. It didn't feel like it was a shot and it was in the back of the net. Just that delayed reaction from the fan suggested either it was the keeper fluffed it or he just had enough power to get creep in the bottom corner. Okay. But clearly we were dominating. I can't remember it was before or after that when Mitrovic had a header to the keeper where I thought he should have headed it to the other side of the keeper.
That's right. He just headed straight to the keeper.
Yeah, I thought he should have done better with that. And Bobby Reid should have done better with this finish as well. He had more time, should have been more composed. And I was saying to Joe that we're 2-0 up, dominating. Swansea haven't threatened, but they will get a chance in this game. They will get a moment or two. And I don't want our sloppiness and wasteful in front of goal to pay, and then we pay the price for it. And we almost did.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Emilio. And that's going to lead to talk about the Swansea City goal. Because I want to give them credit. They play a certain way, and they always looked a threat. But when you look at the stats, you're going to notice that they only had one shot on target. So you can have all the great passing, all the threatening passing, but if you don't have the cutting edge, you're not going to win many matches. And they have not scored many goals. But I want to give Patterson a lot of credit on this. This was a well-taken goal. It was set up beautifully. And at this point, I'm going to tell you, Emilio, I was feeling a little nervous after they scored the goal.
Yeah. And what's frustrating is that, we should have been probably 3 or 4-0 up by that point. The game should have been out of sight. But I think we've said it often on the show that we're liable to concede goals, whether you're 2-0 up, 3-0 up, or 4-0 up. So the fact that they got a goal, it was a well-taken goal. He looked very composed. Right. But we had plenty of opportunity to clear that ball and defend that ball. And we were just a little bit sloppy at times. And I give Patterson credit for scoring. And like I said, he took the goal well. But to be honest, I thought we just took our foot off the gas slightly. We lost concentration and we had enough opportunities to clear that ball. And, unfortunately, they scored a goal with their first attempt at goal, essentially. That's the frustration. Right. With all our attempts at goal preceding that, we should have been 3 or 4 up. And
totally agree.
The flash of an eye, you're only 1 goal ahead. And that's the frustration. And that's the worry. I think we've now got the fact that we can't take anything for granted, even if you've got 2-goal margin, because we're always liable to concede goals.
Absolutely. And I think, again, the way we play can lead to counterattacks, Emilio. Yeah. And that's what we saw here. And you're at 2-1. And like I said, I was starting to feel a little bit nervous, but this is also a very positive sign to be able to get that goal back. Yeah. And let's just talk, because every time Fulham had the ball when they were moving forward, they were dangerous. And let's give Dennis Adoy a lot of credit here. Dennis Adoy sets up Mitro's 3rd goal. This was the best of the 3, my friend. This is a great goal for Mitro.
Great build-up. You look at the link-up play from Seri to Reid. That's to Harrison Reid. I think Cabana it was literally the ball from Bobby Reid out to
all the way from the back. Yep.
Beautiful movement there. Beautiful passing. Good velocity. And then Dennis, great cross and great first strike from Mitrovic. That's what you pay money for. That's right. The Mitrovic of old, like you said earlier in the show. That's the sharpness in front of goal there. To be able to get on that first time, bang, back of the net, 3-1. The fact we responded just before half-time when nerves are starting to creep in. They've got back into the game undeservedly. And, they looked a little bit more threatening. They had a bit more possession. But, thankfully, great attacking move. And Dennis, who I thought had a fantastic game and deserved a goal. We'll talk about that in the second half. But, at the end of the day, Dennis looked threatening from corners, had a shot on goal, and he created an assist. So great game from Dennis and a great assist and fabulous Mitrovic finish.
Okay. Excellent there, my friend. Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk about the second half of this match. We're going to talk about the turning point of the match. We'll end with man of the match. Okay, Emilio. The second half begins, and Fulham actually created an opportunity or two, and I was thinking, okay, we're going to put this away. Then Joe Bryan's injury comes, and I think this is pivotal to talk about, even moving forward, because Anthony Robinson did not play because of injury. So this is a little bit worrying. Yeah. He actually looked injured in the first half, tried to work it through, played the beginning of the second half, but then comes off injured. And I'm thinking, what are they going to do here? So Marco Silva makes the substitution and brings on Alfie Mawson, but that just changes everything because you don't have a natural left back, and you're bringing in another center back. So talk about the domino effect of Joe Bryan coming off and how that affected the second half, the way we played.
Exactly. We lost momentum and shape, didn't we? I think obviously Bryan got an injury towards the end of the first half, and as I said, never fully recovered from that. And I'm surprised we put Tim Ream there as a fullback initially. I thought Bobby Dockett-Reid would have been a natural.
I thought that would have been the move.
Yeah, I saw maybe 15 minutes later when Ream was looking extremely uncomfortable playing as fullback, that he played 5 at the back. So again, the subsequent substitutions is more around safety first and packing the defence and playing 5 at the back. But I think that Bryan injury did upset the balance of the team. You didn't have a spectacular game, but the fact that you've lost that balance, you've lost a natural left back, and Swansea had a lot more possession. I'd like to see the possession count subsequent to that injury versus before that. I'm sure Swansea had a lot more possession, and we didn't. It was ugly that second half. We had to fight. We created a few opportunities, but overall, it's nice not to play well, struggling at times, and still not lose that half. And that's what I take as a positive.
Right.
My earlier point, you can't play well for 90 minutes. We played better and lost this season, and we played better and not won. So it's at the end of the day, I'm concerned we haven't got a natural left back probably for Coventry on Saturday. I don't know how extensive Robinson's injury is, but we've got 2 natural left-footed players out, and
that's not good.
I think you'll have to probably play Bobby Reid in that position, in my opinion.
That's a possibility, and I don't know if you've seen the score yet, Emilio, but Luton Town did a number on Coventry, so they might be not in a very festive mood when they play Fulham. So just keep that in mind. But let's just talk about a couple more items, and then we'll go. And let's talk about turning point of the match. I'll just say I think it obviously is the third goal from Mitro. But is there another point of the match where you think the match really turned?
Not really, to be honest. I thought the game was out of sight by the time we got to half time. I think the 3-1 up, I thought that was a comfortable lead. The Bryan injury and the substitutions we had to make, clearly we lost a lot of balance and shape. I don't think it was a turning point as far as I'm concerned. I thought, I thought the starting lineup was encouraging. I'm not sure if Shalabah was injured or not, but, clearly I thought Harrison Reid, for that matter, Seri, Harrison Reid, their link-up play was very good, and especially in that first half. They were both looking for the ball. They both had good positional play. The game kept flowing well. We dominated possession, created a lot of opportunities. And it was just that was an encouraging first half. That was one of the best performances this season. First 45 minutes, I thought. We could have scored a lot more. So for me, maybe you could argue the starting 11 was a turning point. I think we've missed Harrison Reid in that busy.
Oh, I totally agree.
In that role that he plays. And if he can stay injury-free, then, he's going to play a very important part for us. But I thought maybe the turning point for me is the starting lineup, which was a lot more positive. And, we made, maybe some of them were enforced with Robinson, but I still prefer Robinson to Joe Bryan, that. But I think the key thing is in the middle of the field, we looked a little bit more lively and we looked a little bit more attacking. We weren't as sloppy with our passing. With Shalabah against Reading, for what I saw, he had a poor game, to be honest. His passing was sloppy at times and didn't really contribute much.
Okay. Emilio, I'm going to give you a new nickname. We're going to call you the Fulham Shadow because you're, and listen, everyone watching this video, just understand that maybe next time we'll figure out a way to get Emilio a light for like a night light for night matches, but he's doing the best he can. Thankfully, Emilio's joining me, and I'm very thankful that he can join me. But I'm going to call you right now the Fulham Shadow.
Shadow.
The Fulham Shadow. But I'm going to share this with you. This is from Chris Davidson. You ready? I seem to remember Teddy Maybank scoring 4 first half goals against Orient. Does it go back to then?
1977 or 78, Chris? 6-1 Fulham. Is that the game? I think that's the game.
I'm sure he can answer back to us. I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure that we thrashed Orient 6-1 in that game, and that's a good shout. But have we scored more? I'm curious. I'm curious about a hat trick in the first half, but overall, one thing to call out as well is I understand why Marco Silva made some cautionary substitution. They know he took Mitrovic off.
Yep.
Mitrovic was disappointed being subbed. I noticed he wasn't.
But that's a good sign, though. You want him to be. You want him to.
You know, he didn't look happy. He didn't applaud the fans, from what I could see.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's feeling a little bit disappointed. I think he wanted to carry on, but clearly, Marco Silva doesn't see maybe the Muniz Mitrovic link-up play as being an option. I thought he could have maybe trialled that out for 20 minutes, see how that, give that an extension from the Reading game. Clearly didn't see that was an option. And then he packed them in. He took Harry Wilson off, which I thought was a good move. I thought Wilson had a poor game, to be honest, and he's going to be one of those frustrating.
Yeah, a little disappointed by his play, Emilio. I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm expecting more from Harry Wilson. He was disappointing.
And I think there's a link, something we haven't mentioned before. How much does Harry Wilson miss having Carvalho around him? You think about when Wilson was at his...
It's a great point.
Him and Carvalho, that link-up play was sublime at times. Wilson's been a dude in recent games, to be honest. Today was frustrating. And maybe we've seen what Liverpool fans are saying. He won't do much in a game, but he may get the odd assist and the odd goal. But today, generally a poor game. Gave away a few sloppy fouls. Yep. He didn't really contribute much, to be honest.
No. And that's disappointing. But like you said, that's a good point by you. Maybe he really misses that link-up play with Carvalho. Maybe that is really affecting him, which is interesting. Okay, I do want to share this with you, Emilio. Before we go to the man of the match, I want to share this comment from our friend Steve Reynolds. And where is it? Here it is, because he's talking about Dennis and Neeskens. He says, Dennis and Neeskens have been constantly good for a long time and never given a credit. I would say solid. I wouldn't say good for a long time. I think solid's a better description of Dennis and Neeskens. Sorry, Steve. That's just how I feel about both of them. I wouldn't say that they've been good or great. I would say solid. And I think, and that's a compliment in a way. They just do their jobs. Yeah.
Dennis, I thought, has settled back into the team. We know Dennis is always capable of making a mistake, but that's why we love him. We can't afford his effort, his motivation. He brings a lot of energy to the team. He had a great game, great, like I said earlier, great shot that the keeper saved. For me, he was the second best player on the pitch tonight. Him and Neeskens were close to getting... I think Mitrovic, you've got to give man of the match because clearly got the hat-trick. But Dennis and Neeskens both had very good games. But Cabano, typically, over the last few seasons, he'll have one good game for 90 minutes and then have a sort of average game the next, and then he's in and out of the team.
This is from Chris Davidson.
I agree.
That's backing
exactly
you on
my
that.
point. Making my point. I love Cabano. Today, he's warranted a starting position against Coventry City because he was outstanding. Looked threatening, lively, some great sublime touches, some great dummies. I think there was a couple of moments where he dummied the Swansea defence. But can you do that consistently for 90 minutes game in, game out? I haven't seen that in a Fulham shirt yet. Not to say he can't do it, but I haven't seen that happen yet. And he's an opportunity. He's got the opportunity to do that.
Okay, excellent, my friend. All right, to end, let's do man of the match. I think it's easy to say Mitro because you scored the 3 goals, but I think we have some others I've mentioned. I think we've already talked about Neeskens, Cabano. Is it just a slam dunk with the first half hat trick to say Mitro?
I think so. It'd be cheeky not to give him the man of the match. I've got some photographs which I'll send you after where obviously he's got the match ball at the end of the game, so I'll send them across to you guys. And it's a no-brainer. He scored a hat trick. Could have scored 4. That header, I think he should have buried it in the other corner. But let's not be critical. He looked sharp today. He looked up for it. He wanted. He made a difference. He was a difference tonight, in my opinion. Then with Cabano there, with looking lively, good balls into the box, winning a lot of corners. He was threatening. And Dennis, I'm going to call it, as I said, I'm calling out Dennis. Dennis ventured forward quite often, looked dangerous from corners, and was unlucky not to get a goal tonight.
Okay.
Seri,
What about Seri? We haven't really talked enough about Jean-Michael Seri and the difference he's made. Here's a player that was just not part of anyone's plans. I'm talking about the fans. Obviously part of the Marco Silva plan, but for him to come and play at such a high level, and it's been a huge part of Fulham's success so far. They've needed Jean-Michael Seri, and we weren't even thinking about him before the season began.
Yeah, I remember I did the Huddersfield show with with our friend Jeremy, and I said,
Yeah.
play him the next game. And I got a lot of criticism for saying, "How are you ridiculous? How can you play Seri?" And I said, give him a chance. If he's contracted to play and wants to play, give him a chance. And look, he's played every game since then. So
yeah,
I don't want to do a David Tully here and say I'm always right, but as far as I'm concerned, he's been our most consistent player since he's been playing, looking comfortable. His passing is just simple, effective, and he keeps the ball moving. The set plays gives us an extra bonus. We've lacked someone good from corners, and clearly his distribution from set pieces is of a Premier League standard. Absolutely. So hopefully they will continue, and if he can get promoted, then don't be surprised he'll be figuring next season in the Premier League.
Absolutely. And Emilio, I'm convinced now that Marco Silva is taking your advice. I think he's watching these videos. First it's Seri, then it's the halftime substitutions at Bristol City. Yeah. And I'm thinking, is Marco Silva and the coaching staff watching?
He's listening to our show.
I don't know. But again, he could go on Twitter and see the same comments. So again, we're saying it's us, but it's the fans, because the fans know what Fulham truly need. Anyways, my friend, huge effort for you to do this show in the dark. You've been wonderful to do this with me. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Well, like I said, I'm going to call the Fulham Shadow, but
the Fulham Shadow.
We've got another evening game in a few weeks' time against Cardiff City, so yeah, I'll be there as well. All fingers crossed. But overall, great first half. Disappointed actually going only 2 goals up in that first half. That was my disappointment. But other than that, it's good to not play well but still win the game, especially that second half. So that's encouraging. But the only thing we need to worry about is injuries. Injuries are starting to creep in.
That's right.
And so that's a slight concern. But look, we're 2 points off the top of the table, all to play for.
Absolutely, Emilio. And listen, this is a marathon and not a sprint. I've said this several times, Emilio. There are going to be ups and downs. And the team that can deal with, as you just talked about, injuries and not getting too high or too low and being able to just consistently play the best will win the league, and there'll be that team that will come in second. And we'll see if Fulham are that team. I think they are. And I think this is actually a positive sign that tells me they can do that, because they overcame some adversity here. Joe Bryant going down is some adversity. It really is, because if they had to change how they played, they saw it out. And this is a team, I'm talking about Swansea City, that likes to possess the ball and look threatening. Even though they don't score a lot of goals, they were able to see the match out. It was an ugly second half. Let's just say it what it is.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You know what, my friend? They saw it out. And that's the bottom line. They did what they had to do, and they got all 3 points.
Exactly.
It's not always going to be pretty, Emilio.
Yeah, again, the worry for me, again, if there's a slight concern, is if we didn't go in at half time 2 goals up and the game was even, then, and with those substitutions, we made some tactical changes. We set ourselves up not to lose that game, or not to concede, rather than trying to win that second half. But tactically, it was a different outcome there. But my concern is there, if we hadn't gone in with a 2-goal margin at half time, then that second half performance did worry me at times. But like I said, Brighton got promoted a few years back. They won ugly many times. We kept commenting on it. We will have to do the same. And if we can do that, then that's a sign of a good team.
Okay, excellent, my friend. All right, I'm just going to share this comment. I'll buy a pint for the Fulham Shadow if I see you at the next few games. See you there. Okay, thank you for that, Steve.
I'm always here, Steve, every home game. So yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
I will hold you to that pint.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. For Emilio Di Nello, the Fulham Shadow, I'm Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk.